Download this code from codegive.com, link in the description below. Troubleshooting new client disconnected, issue 1641, with code examples, a deep dive. New client disconnected, often associated with issue 1641 in many network programming contexts, especially related to socket programming and network services, is a common, and often frustrating, error. It signifies that a client successfully connects to your server, but then unexpectedly terminates the connection shortly after, before performing any significant data exchange or completing the intended task. Diagnosing the root cause requires a systematic approach, examining various factors in both the client and server code, as well as the network environment. This tutorial will guide you through the typical causes of this issue, provide code examples in Python to illustrate potential problems, and offer debugging strategies to pinpoint and resolve the error. We'll cover common culprits like timeouts, socket configuration, exceptions, incorrect data handling, resource limitations, and more. Understanding the problem *. The basic flow of a successful client-server interaction goes like this. One server listens *. The server opens a port and waits for incoming connections. 2 Client connects *. The client attempts to establish a TCP connection to the server's IP address and port. 3 Server accepts *. The server accepts the incoming connection, creating a new socket dedicated to that client. 4 Data exchange *. The client and server send and receive data using the established socket. 5 Connection closure *. The client or server, or both, close the connection gracefully. New client disconnected occurs after step 3, the server accepts the connection, but before or during step 4, data exchange. The server sees the connection established, but then it notices the client disconnects unexpectedly. This implies that the client-server handshake was successful at the TCP level, SYN, SYN-ACK, ACK, but the application-level interaction failed. Common causes and solutions with Python examples *. Here's a breakdown of the most frequent reasons for new client disconnected and how to address them. 1. Client-side errors, often the culprit. Incorrect server address / port *. The client is trying to connect to the wrong IP address or port. This seems obvious, but it's a frequent mistake. Solution * double-check the server _IP and server _port variables in your client code. Use netstat, SS, or similar network tools on both the client and server machines to verify the connection attempts and listening ports. Client-side exceptions * unhandled exceptions in the client code can cause it to terminate abruptly, leading to a disconnect. This is especially common if you're using threads or asynchronous programming. Solution * implement robust exception handling, try, except, finally, in your client code. Log exceptions to a file or console to help diagnose the problem. Make sure to close the socket in the finally block to prevent resource leaks. Incorrect data encoding / decoding * if the client and server are using different encodings, example UTF-8 versus ASCII, or are sending binary data that is not properly formatted, it can lead to errors and disconnects. Solution * ensure that the client and server use the same encoding scheme. Explicitly specify the encoding when encoding and decoding strings, encode, UTF-8, decode, UTF-8. For binary data, make sure you're using appropriate serialization and deserialization methods, example pickle, JSON, struct. Client-initiated shutdown, intentional disconnect. The client might be intentionally closing the connection after a short period, but this is happening before the server expects it. This can be due to incorrect program logic. Solution * review the client's logic to ensure it's not closing the connection prematurely. Make sure the client is waiting for any expected responses from the server before disconnecting. Timeout issues * if a client socket is configured with a timeout and the server isn't responding quickly enough, the client might timeout and disconnect. Solution * increase the timeout value using client_socket.setAmount. Alternatively, review the server's code to see if it's taking too long to respond. Consider using asynchronous programming, example asyncio, on the client to avoid blocking while waiting for a response. Resource exhaustion, less common in rare cases, the client machine might be running out of resources, memory, file descriptors, and be unable to maintain the connection. Solution * monitor the client's resource usage using system monitoring tools, example top, perfman. Optimize the client code to reduce memory consumption and handle file descriptors efficiently. This is usually only an issue with very high volume clients. 2. Server-side errors ***. Server-side exceptions * similar to the client, unhandled exceptions on the server side can lead to the server closing the connection it just accepted. This often happens inside the thread/process that handles the client's connection. Solution * wrap the client handling logic in try, except, finally blocks. Log exceptions to a file or console. Close the socket in the finally block to ensure proper cleanup. Server shutdown, intentional or accidental. The server might be shutting down or restarting soon after accepting the connection. This could be due to maintenance, a crash, or incorrect configuration. Solution * check server logs and system events to see if the server is experiencing issues. Ensure that the server is stable and not restarting unexpectedly. Server resource exhaustion * the server might be running out of resources, memory, CPU, file descriptors, thread/processes, and be unable to handle new connections. Solution * monitor the server's resource usage. Optimize the server code to reduce resource consumption. Increase system resources, example memory, CPU cores, if necessary. Implement connection pooling or thread pooling to manage resources more efficiently. Incorrect data handling * the server might be expecting a specific format of data from the client and, when it doesn't receive it, it closes the connection. Solution * document the expected data format clearly. Implement robust input validation and error handling on the server side. Send informative error messages back to the client if the data format is invalid. Server-side timeout * similar to the client, the server can set a timeout on the socket connection. If the client doesn't send any data within the timeout period, the server will close the connection. Solution * adjust the server _timeout to a more appropriate value. Consider sending a heartbeat or keep alive message from the client to prevent the server from timing out the connection. Too many open sockets * a server can only handle a limited number of open sockets. If that limit is reached, incoming connections will be refused and closed. This is often configurable within the OS. Solution * increase the maximum allowed number of opened files/sockets. Optimize socket handling code. 3. Network issues ***. Firewall ***. A firewall might be blocking communication between the client and server. This is especially common if the client and server are on different networks. Solution ***. Configure the firewall on both the client and server machines to allow traffic on the relevant ports. Network congestion * Network congestion can lead to packet loss and delays, which can trigger timeouts and disconnects. Solution * monitor network traffic. Reduce the amount of data being transmitted. Implement error handling and retry mechanisms. Improve network infrastructure. NAT issues if the client is behind a network address translator, NAT, it can sometimes cause problems with connections to servers. Solution configure the NAT device to forward traffic on the appropriate port to the client. Consider using techniques like stun or turn to help with NAT traversal. Proxy issues if a proxy server is improperly configured, it may drop connections, not handle them properly, or be overloaded. Solution check the proxy configuration, review logs, and ensure proper proxy configuration. Debugging strategies 1. Isolate the problem determine whether the issue is consistently reproducible or intermittent. If it's intermittent, it could indicate network issues or resource contention. Simplify your client and server code as much as possible to isolate the problem. 2. Logging implement comprehensive logging on both the client and server sides. Log connection attempts, data sent and received, exceptions, and any other relevant information. Use timestamps in your logs. The logging module in Python is excellent for this. 3. Network monitoring tools use network monitoring tools like Dump, Wireshark, or Chark to capture network traffic between the client and server. Analyze the packet captures to identify any issues with the TCP handshake, data transmission, or connection closure. Look for retransmissions, dropped packets, or unexpected TCP flags, example RST, FIN. 4. Simplify and test reduce the complexity of your application. Create a minimal working example that sends the smallest amount of data necessary to trigger the issue. Test the client and server on the same machine, using 127.0.0.1 or localhost, to eliminate network issues as a possible cause. If the problem disappears when running on localhost, then network issues are much more likely to be involved. 5. Increase timeouts. Temporarily increase timeout values on both the client and server sides to see if the disconnects are due to timeouts. This can help you rule out timeouts as the primary cause. 6. Debugging tools use a debugger, like PDB in Python, to step through the client and server code and examine the state of variables and sockets at various points. 7. Reproducible test cases create reproducible test cases that consistently trigger the new client disconnected error. This will make it easier to debug and verify fixes. 8. Check system logs check system logs on the server and clients such as syslog or the Windows Event Viewer for any abnormal errors or system issues that might be the cause of the sudden disconnects. Example scenario and debugging steps Let's say you're getting new client disconnected consistently. Here's a possible debugging approach. 1. Start with the client examine the client's code for any obvious errors. Is it connecting to the correct IP address and port? Does it have proper exception handling? Does it have a timeout that might be too short? 2. Run on localhost test the client and server on the same machine, 127.0.0.1. If the problem disappears, it's likely a network-related issue, firewall, routing, NAT, etc. 3. Logging add logging to both the client and server to track the connection lifecycle and any errors that occur. 4. Wireshark use Wireshark to capture network traffic. Look for the TCP handshake, SYN, SYN-ACK, ACK. See if the client is sending any data before disconnecting. Check if the client is sending a FIN or RST packet. 5. Timeout testing temporarily disable timeouts on the client to see if that resolves the issue. 6. Examine server logs check the server's logs, application logs and system logs, for any errors or warnings that might be related to the connection disconnects. 7. Simplified test case *. Create a very simple client and server program that just establishes a connection and sends a minimal amount of data. If the problem persists, you can focus on the basic socket communication. Code example using asyncio, asynchronous approach. Asynchronous programming is helpful for handling multiple concurrent connections without blocking. It's often used in servers that need to handle a large number of clients. Key takeaways **** New client disconnected is often a symptom, not the root cause. You need to investigate to find the underlying issue. * Client-side errors are frequently the culprit. * Logging is essential for debugging. * Network monitoring tools can provide valuable insights. * Simplify your code and test incrementally. * Thorough error handling is crucial. * Consider using asynchronous programming for scalable server applications. By systematically investigating these areas and using the debugging techniques outlined above, you can effectively diagnose and resolve the new client disconnected issue and ensure the stability of your client-server applications. Remember to examine the specific context of your application and adapt these suggestions accordingly. Good luck.